But Lee, no better place to start than with what's going on at Man United right now, because
you're not going to get rattled, are you, Terry?
No, not really. I know where we're at. It's been an awful start to the season. We overall, again, against Brighton, having watched the game back yesterday, which was painful. We were poor. There's a lot of pressure on the manager. There's already talk about his job being under scrutiny. We have seen the media claims today of the recruitment team don't like his recruitment. Agents that used to feed players into the club don't like that his agency are now involved. Obviously the dressing room fracas that are going on with players fighting, the Sancho situation. It's really on top right now for him. Do you think he's at risk of losing his job, and does that fix Man United if it happens, mate?
He's definitely getting sacked. I said to you, I think last week or the week before, we'd gone by the October international break. I didn't expect you to put that level of, well, non-performance in against Brighton. I can't lie. That was embarrassing. And I think everything that I've said about Ten Hag is about to be proven right. Yeah, he's jobs for the boys. He's a yes man. He's only there to save the Glazers money, and he's only signing players that he's worked with or knows of from that league. So it's a bit of a mess. And then all the statements that you've been putting out as a football club and players' statements and stuff like that, you're all over the place, mate. Like, honestly, I just look at it and I think he was probably hyped up because of Ajax connection, Cruyff ball and all of that. And he's worked with Pep. So everyone's put him on a pedestal. But I said to you the day he did that interview, and he said, Harry Maguire's my captain. He's a great player, blah, blah, blah. So he ain't no good. Yeah, and I've said that so many times throughout his tenure, that he ain't no good. He ain't got it. He's a yes man, and it's jobs for the boys. We all knew that Bruno was going to get the armband. Why did Bruno get it? It should have been Casemiro. I said that at the time. Casemiro should get it. You know, when you see that, and people are going to cry about this, but I don't really care. When you see that lad Hannibal jumping around fist pumping like he's just scored a Champions League final winner, that tells you everything that's wrong with that football club. The mentality of that football club in terms of used to be serial winners and now it's everyone's comfy. Yeah, that was all that right there in that celebration. I know it's his first goal. I know he's worked hard to get into the first team and all of that jazz, but he felt so comfy that he could run around doing that when you're 3-1 when he scored. I mean, great goal, lovely goal, but where's the leader? Where's the leader in that team? Where's Bruno saying, what are you doing? Come over here, pick the ball up and put it on the centre. Where is Casemiro? Why weren't Cas doing that? Where were the more experienced players in the team? Rashford, you know, but that comes back to Ten Hag. That comes back to how he's allowed that to happen, because there ain't no winning mentality at that football club. But then I suppose that starts at the very top. And that's why they employed him, because he's just a yes man. Yeah, he's getting sacked real soon. Does it help you going forward? Depends who you bring in. Does any Man United fan think that they're going to bring in a proper manager? That's going to change the attitude?
So let's stop it there for a second. So I want to go back and delve deeper into a few things you said. When you say jobs for the boys, what do you mean?
Well, he's got his favourites, Rashford, Bruno, his agent. Like there's things that have happened along the way. Yeah,
what do you mean by his agent?
His agent is the same agent. His agent is the same agent as Højlund's.
Right.
Yeah. So come on, mate, do the maths. Right. Then pretty much every single player that is signed has come from the Dutch league or played in the Dutch league or played for him in the Dutch league. Even Mason Mount played in the Dutch league. Yeah. Then you look how much money Man United Football Club signed Lissandro and Anthony for, again, giving Ajax 140 million quid. Yeah. All a little bit weird, mate. All a little bit weird.
So kind of overpaying for players that are managed by the agency his brother works for, and overpaying for players to help his previous clubs.
Yeah, that and his own agent. Yeah, because his agent's getting a kickback on these deals. So just rather than getting one player, he's got this player instead. Like,
okay, so I understand that. So let me ask you a question. You also said he's here to save the Glazers' money, and it's not trying to catch you out. It's a genuine question. How are you saving the Glazers' money if you're overpaying for players to make your agent and your old clubs more money? How does that save us money?
He took 100 million quid off the wage bill since he's been there a year. 100 million a year. Yeah, so he saved the Glazers' money. That 100 million that he's taken off the wage bill, there pays the debt for another year. Like, Come on, man. He's only there to save the money. You get rid of Ronaldo on $500,000 a week, right? And his replacement is Højlund on what, 80 grand a week? Yeah, you get rid of David De Gea. He's on 300 grand a week.
Just on Ronaldo, but you were somebody when Ronaldo was here. You said although he scores goals, he isn't good enough for Man United anymore.
Yeah, I'm not saying he is. I'm saying the difference in wage.
That's the point. So I understand that. So the wage bill shrunk because Ronaldo was on a huge amount of money, but Ronaldo wasn't good enough. So for me, I feel like there's a few things here that are being kind of. I understand what you mean. The wage bill has definitely reduced, but the majority of the players that have left that have reduced their wage bill were not performing for Man United. Where it would make sense is if we were getting rid of.
That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, because they did need to leave. Majority of the ones that have gone should have left.
Yes.
Right? But you now go and replace them and use the extra revenue that you've just got by getting rid of these high earners. You go and invest that into better players than the ones you've signed, or a couple more extra players on top of the ones you've signed. You go and get rid of David De Gea and bring in Nana, who's on miles less. Okay, cool. Nana's a decent keeper. He ain't shown it so far at Man United. Yeah, Højlund might turn out to be a decent striker, right? But is there a better goalkeeper on the planet that you could go and get than Nana? Probably yes. Is there a better striker out there that you could have gone and got than Højlund? Yes. You're Man United. You've just saved all of that money by getting rid of them two, in particular, Ronaldo and De Gea. And the combined wages of them two is probably less than Ronaldo was getting in 3 days.
Yeah, so I look at it this way. I don't necessarily look at this as that he was trying to save the Glazers' money, because I don't think it's that. I think you can criticize the manager's signings if they don't work out. I think that's absolutely fair because Anthony definitely deserves criticism. Been nowhere near good enough. Ended up being a waste of money. Outside of that, I'm not really judging this season's signings too early yet. Mount's had 2 games. Amrabat's not kicked the ball. Højlund's had in totality 80 minutes and unlucky not to score, unlucky not to mainly set up the Garnacho goal. And although we've conceded a lot of goals, one of those goals I think Onana could have done better with. The way our midfield has been run through and the opportunities teams have had against us, De Gea concedes the majority of those goals as well. So I'm not deep in it too much. I want to give those players more time. There's definitely areas to criticize the manager on. I don't think being a yes man and jobs for boys is too much. The agency that his brother works for, Pep's brother also works for them as well. And only one player of that agency plays for Man United. Only one player of that agency plays for Manchester City. And only one of those, I think Gakpo is also with that agency and also plays for Liverpool. And Man United wanted him, but still couldn't get it done with his brother being there. So I think the media is kind of overstating this. When you read the article, and this is why I've said today, and a lot of United fans are angry with me, bruv. It's actually hilarious to see this because they read, I said to you the other week about headline readers.
What you're saying is they're storming off now.
No. Yeah. But they're triggered by it because they're headline readers. What I'm saying, and by the title of this video, Ten Hag's exit has begun. Doesn't mean it will complete because if results get better, they won't get rid of him. But the PR to get him out has begun. Because the article that came out today, that staff are concerned with the signings being made. When you delve into it, there's barely any mention in the article that staff are concerned. There's a few, but not many. It's all the intermediaries and the agencies that have been making money off Man United in the past 10 years who are no longer being used. They're using a different group of people. They are kicking off. Some of their players are also at Man United and are not featuring regularly in the first team. So suddenly people that were making lots of money out of Man United are no longer making money out of Man United. They have a problem. The recruitment team are the ones saying we didn't want Amrabat. Yeah, their suggestion other than Amrabat was Rabiot. They didn't suggest Lisandro Martinez. They wanted Pau Torres. Now, I'm not saying Lisandro Martinez is the best centre-back in the world. I think he's definitely better than Pau Torres with what we have seen so far. They didn't want Rasmus Højlund. They wanted us to go and sign Arnautovic. They didn't want Casemiro last summer, the Man United recruiters. They wanted Rabiot. So I think there's elements of this where I'd say, listen, the manager's got to make this work, but I'm not being suckered in. There's the talk now that the players are all fighting and arguing after games. That's so atypical for players, grown men, to have face-to-face, whether it's Sunday league, school football, or professional football, they do that. But it's being twisted into something. And I said it in a video earlier, Lee, and this is the truth. The only story missing, and wait for it to come, which is the fourth sign of the apocalypse that every manager at Man United, is the players have concerns with the training methods. And the reason that I say this, and I've got a little screenshot for you here, We've had these type of headlines for Jose and LVG and for Ollie with coach concerns and signing concerns and staff are concerned about the future of Jose. This is what happens. And the Glazers, they either feed some of it or they allow it to happen. Because what they do is this now is where the Glazers make their money out of Man United. Because every time a manager starts to struggle, the share price starts to drop. That's people selling their shares. And do you know who buys them typically? The Glazers buy them back.
Yeah.
And there are multiple examples over the past decade of them purchasing millions of shares when it drops, just for them to sell it on later, whether it's the sacking of a manager or the signing of a star player. So when they signed Cristiano Ronaldo, they made £186 million themselves overnight. And the club went up in value on the stock exchange by 800 million. Now, they made more money on that signing of Ronaldo than City have won for all the trophies they have generated under Pep. That's how much more money there is in having bad news followed by positive news on the stock exchange. When Jose Mourinho, was sacked, the value of Man United jumped by 600 million, and the Glazers made £120 million profit in their back pockets overnight. And it was a similar fee when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was set. So let me just say this now. I don't disagree with some of your analysis. I don't even disagree with people, objectively speaking, that the manager's made mistakes and he might not be good enough. I'm here and I'm willing to accept that as a theory. But as a Man United fan, what I can't do for the 6th time running is believe that, one, these owners care about making us better. 2, they're going to pick the right manager next. Because me and you sat here on this show, we didn't do it with Jose, we did it with Ollie, we did it with Ragnick. And the consensus was, if we get a better manager, we'll improve. Nothing happens. I just can't waste my energy on, these are the problems with the manager. These are the problems with certain players. Sell them, sack him. We will improve. Because the Glazers could solve all these problems now by putting their foot down and ensuring we're run properly, but they won't, because this is exactly what they want. They are going to make, in my opinion, by the time Ten Hag is sacked, if he indeed goes, with the share price then skyrocketing afterwards, they will make hundreds of millions of pounds of personal profit, and the valuation of the club will rise up high, and they'll get more in their sale. This is everything the Glazers want. And I said this on a video earlier today. I am not saying, because I haven't even looked at the comments for a second because I've had the other screen up. People will say, Terry's talking rubbish, just like I said. I'm sure Terry's clutching at straws. Ten Hag is not a good manager, though. I know what you're all going to say. And I'm not disagreeing with any of you around Ten Hag. I have faith in him. You don't have to, but I don't care. Because it's inconsequential to me when you do your research and you look at all the leaked stories on all previous sacked managers, identical to what we're hearing now. You look at the timescale, identical. You look at what we call the problems, players, signings, tactics, patterns of play, player attitudes, managers throwing people under buses, identical. Everything each time is identical. We can just take out the names of previous videos. Just bleep every time I say Jose, LVG, or Ollie, and just put Ten Hag's name in there. The videos are identical. I get what you're saying, Lee, and I hope you're realizing I'm not disagreeing with you.
I understand everything you've just said about the share prices.
I'm so done with sitting here and thinking sacking managers improves Man United. The core of the club is broken. And until we fix that, manager conversations, and even to a degree, player conversations in terms of medium to long-term success are null and void. They're pointless. They're nonsensical. They are worthless in many ways, shapes. When you're reviewing an individual game, 100%. But when we're focusing on the problems at a club, it is pointless sacking Ten Hag. The same as it was pointless sacking the previous 6 managers and wasting £1.7 billion on players and salaries to be in exactly the same position that we're in now. We've got to fix the club first. Otherwise, the rest of it's futile.